2025 season was another disaster year for the New York Jets. After coming into the season, hiring Aaron Glenn, pointing to a sign of a new turnaround in the organization, it was a disaster. Zero shines have pointed towards him being the head coach next year, except for the fact that they have fired every single person in that building besides the head coach after one season. Their defense was not great. He was horrible with the media. Shout out him for that dance. That was pretty cool. But the defense wasn't that great last year. Obviously, the offense did not help them. They forced 0 interceptions, which was crazy. Yeah, I can't believe that. They brought in Justin Fields thinking he was going to be the guy, getting rid of him after 1 year. It's incompetency from the Jets. What is new? Aaron Glenn will most likely be fired next year. Unless the Jets are fine with letting him fit the timeline, they're going to be bad for the next 2 or 3 years. You can't blame everything on him. The talent on this team is horrific. The Brady Cook experiment, I hope it was fun for you Jets fans. I didn't think it was very cool. It was embarrassing football. When your best player from a season is your 40-year-old kicker, Nick Folk, you have some issues with your squad. Yes, they traded Sauce Gardner. Yes, they traded Quinnen Williams. Those were awesome moves in my eye. It set the path for the Jets. They know what they want to do. They're tanking. Where did this mess begin? Justin Fields. What a clueless contract that was. What was it? $30-40 million guaranteed. He's going to be getting cut. He looked clueless at times. Barely even had net passing yards in some games. How about that Broncos-Jets London game? Oh my, it was horrible. Justin Fields is just, he's not the answer. He never was the answer. Should have never been the answer. Garrett Wilson was hurt all season. A bright spot on the offense, I guess you could say. Breece Hall stayed healthy. Armand Membu was an awesome pick. He will be a franchise cornerstone for the next couple years. Other than that, this team has weaknesses everywhere. The past 3 draft classes have not been great. That is the reason for the lack of talent. But the Jets do have resources. After the trades of their 2 best players, Sauce and Quinnen Williams, they now own this year the 2nd overall pick, the number 16 overall pick. They have 10 picks in total, 3 first-rounders next year. It's going to be a cool rebuild. This reminds me of the Raiders when they brought in Gruden. They sold Khalil Mack. They sold Amari Cooper. You got a lot of picks, and now you got to turn them into production. And it's going to work out awesomely because all those picks for one player you got to hit on one player for that trade to work out, if we're going to be honest. And they have multiple picks throughout the draft. They're top 5 in cap space, around $80 million. Justin Fields, he better be getting cut. That'll save them around another $10 million post-June. They're still capped by Aaron Rodgers' cutting his release. 2nd in NFL in dead cap. He's on the books for around $30 million still. So that'll be around QB1's contract, Sam Darnold's contract, in dead cap for their quarterback position next year. This is what happens when you draft bad and you suck at spending money. You turn into the Raiders, Jets, those type of organizations. What is there to fix in the Jets? That's the thing. As I've seen from most Jets fans, they say yes, in meaning everything is a need on this team, and it's total facts. It's straight facts. This team is not good. Quarterback, like we mentioned, Justin Fields, what's the decision there? He's getting cut. Do you draft a guy? Chambliss, Simpson, Nussenmeyer, Carson Beck. This draft class is pathetic, besides Fernando Mendoza, who you guys lost out on. Sorry. Free agency again. Maybe trade for Mac Jones. Compete with the Dolphins for Malik Willis, maybe. Mariota's out there. Danny Dimes. If he hits the open market, I could definitely see them maybe trying to go after him. I don't know what the Jets are going to do. Finding a quarterback this offseason looks impossible. It's impossible this year. Mendoza's the guy. Unless they hit, it's going to be another long season without a quarterback. It's that simple. What about the running back room? Breece Hall, he needs an extension. He's going to be a free agent. Braylon Allen, how many years in a row is that with a knee ending injury? Career ending? Not career ending, but he gets hurt a lot. Isaiah Davis looks like he could be a second guy. You give him a couple touches a game. The RB room is a question mark. Breece Hall. You need an extension. The receiving room. This was my biggest issue. The receiving room is garbage besides G. Willie. Yes, Mason Taylor and Adonai Mitchell started playing better as the opportunities came about. But other than that, it is bad. John Michie can't catch the ball. Adonai Mitchell can't really catch the ball. They need another weapon alongside Garrett Wilson. Hope maybe Lemon gets there. Tate, Tyson at 16. Or you could trade up for your guy, which I don't see why you'd do that without a quarterback. Omar Cooper Jr. in the second round could be a great pick. Or they could sign a guy like Dobbs, Jawan Jennings, Debo. I don't see how it's worth it. This offense is very weak besides the offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, it gets even worse. I think this is worse than the offense. The Jets are in the middle of nowhere. Yes, after trading your two defensive players, you're going to expect to suck. But this bad? Luckily enough, they scammed the Browns for Jawan Briggs this past offseason in a 6th-7th pick swap. He was their best player by far. Will McDonald hasn't gotten better since his rookie year. Jermaine Johnson, you could say the exact same. They were both middle of the pack in pressures around 40. You want those guys to take a leap. And it's pretty obvious what they are. Middle of the pack depth options. Guys you rotate in. They're not these guys you send a second contract to and be like, yeah, we got our guy. We got our go-to pass rusher. Harrison Phillips. Why'd you sign with the Jets? I don't know why. He's a run stuffer who is very good at his job. Just you're on the Jets. So it's not very fun. Clemens. I watched like 2 snaps of this dude. No effort. Garbage. Cut him. He is one of the worst defensive players I've seen on a defensive line. How about the secondary? A unit that got progressively better through the season, but look at the game scripts for all of these games. I don't see how they didn't just improve because they weren't throwing the ball as much. Teams weren't throwing the ball as much against them. And it shows because they tackle a lot. Brownlee is a decent tackler. Sucks in coverage. Stiggers. Got hurt. Moore. He is poop. Another good tackler. All of these guys got an insane amount of playing time. Upwards of 900 snaps apiece. And there was no improvement at all. That is a total coaching staff concern. It's the only reason why they look bad, like I said, it was just the game scripts. How about the linebackers? They extended Sherwood this past offseason. That looks like it's not worth it whatsoever. Paying a linebacker $12 million who can't cover, isn't great in the run defense. Useless. Quincy Williams is a free agent. He's aging. He's slow. He's going to be gone. If I were the Jets, I would be screaming at my TV for them to draft one of maybe Caleb Downs or Sony Styles. Sony Styles will pull up to that defense and make an impact. They will both be captains from day one. They are multiple-year starters at Ohio State. Their games will translate quick. I love one of those two guys to come into this defense first year and be great. The play caller. This past offseason, literally today, it was a huge decision. And as I'm typing up for this video, X-Stand is fired out of nowhere. I was going to talk about how Frank Wright is looking like he could be a key candidate with X-Stand taking a step back, which would have been pathetic. He was literally fired after 1 year after being brought to the Jets to call plays. Does a decent job. Has to coach Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor, and Brady Cook. How does that deserve a firing? I don't know. The Jets are incompetent. This firing gives me zero hope for the Jets and Aaron Glenn. They need to fire him as soon as possible. It's kind of like the Raiders with Josh McDaniels. You know you need to fire him. What are you giving him this extra time for? For hope? Because you paid him a lot of money, you don't want to look dumb, owner? Fuck Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson's a bum. Washed, old fart. Hopefully his son doesn't make it even worse. What do the Jets do in the draft? first off, you hope someone is dumb enough to want to trade up to 2, maybe offensive tackle, maybe pass rush. But you're not finding your quarterback. Maybe Chambliss just blows your socks off. Ty Simpson blows your socks off. But they're not going number 2 overall. The talent at the top, it's not as dominant. There's not those for sure picks besides Mendoza, I'd say. Other than that, you're really projecting these dudes. Arvell Reese looks like, in my opinion, the highest upside guy. He has to develop a pass rush. He's an off-ball linebacker. I could see him being the biggest pick because you want to see him on the edge. He's all the intangibles. He's fast off the ball. He was awesome at Ohio State. Kind of dipped as the season kept going, as they played better competition, which is my biggest fear for him. He's got to have a plan going into the draft. Ruben Bain, this is another guy. Great instincts. He's a speed to power guy. He's fast off the ball. He doesn't have crazy bend, but he has T-Rex arms. And this is a stat that you just have to listen to. If you have short arms, the game is harder in the NFL. It's that simple. If he passes the eye test for sure. It's just what front offices think about his arm length. I wouldn't pick him here. He's not worth the pick here. It really sucks for the Jets that Dante Moore is going back to school. I thought his upside was Jordan Love-esque, but it is smarter for him to go back to school and play rather than sit on the bench for the Jets and probably not learn anything behind Frank Wright. But now you're stuck with a free agency edition. Mac Jones, who are you going to find, Jets fans? I'm Styles over Reese in the draft. Like, even if you're picking number 2, I'm picking Sonny Styles. I know it sounds crazy over Arvell Reese because I know what I'm getting in Sonny Styles. I'm getting a 250-pound linebacker who could cover, who could tackle, who could run a 4.44 540. That's a guy you're going to be paying $20 million to in a couple years. Arvell Reese will either be a mega bust or a superstar. It depends on what you want. And honestly, if I'm the Jets, I'm taking Reese. The Jets are also in a luxury position. When you suck, you can pick best player available every step of the draft. It's going to be hard to find this quarterback. You play your rookies next year. Aaron Glenn gets fired. You have that top pick. You bring in the next understudy offensive coordinator, the Jags OC. LaFleur, maybe, Shallahassee. Clint Kubiak next year if he's not hired by someone this year. And then you're on the right track. Tank this year. Build the pieces through the draft. It's going to be another long season, Jets fans. Do not get excited for winning. Don't get excited for a signing. It's not going to impact anything in 2026. Jets fans, how are you attacking this offseason? Are you best player available? Do you want a quarterback desperately? Are you happy with them retaining Aaron Glenn? I know I'm not. I'll catch y'all boys tomorrow.